Hey friends, it's Timothy with Scrappy Boy Stamps, and today I'm going to show you two different ways to use the dressed shape card die. So this was the shaker card that I made for the release, and I'll show you how I did that, as well as a different way to make a non-shaker dress card. So I'm going to I want to do all the cutting first. That way I can move this thing out of the way and we can assemble the card. So since the die is, I believe, 10 by 5, I went ahead and cut some cardstock to 5.5 inches just to give myself a little bit of room. So I'm going to cut the green card first. And so as you can see with this card, I did the lighter green with the largest die, and then I used the other dies that come with the set to make this piece that's going to overlay. So I do have the extended cutting plates, but I just want to show you if you don't have those plates, that you can still cut it out with your regular plates. So now we're going to do the light one first. So this is going to be the card base. And I like to use washi tape just to hold my dies in place as I'm working, because sometimes they shift if I don't. So just go ahead and make sure you have that lined up where you want it. A couple pieces of washi tape. And that'll also help with lining it up to go back through the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through. And then once I get that side, then I'll move the paper down to the other side. I'll just go ahead and pull that through. So as you can see, that side's still out. So I'm going to go ahead and just move this paper down. And run that side through. Okay, so that's going to give you your base for your card. I'll put that to the side, and then we're going to do the darker green layer. So we are still going to use this same die because we need the outline for it. And so since the scallop is on the front of the card, we're just going to worry about the scallop portion of this die. So since I want that in the darker green, I'm going to go ahead and line that up. And like I said, I'm only worried about the front portion with the scallop. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through. Okay, so there's this piece here. And since we don't need it for the back, there's some score lines right in the center that we're just going to go ahead and cut. Okay. So now with that piece, you're going to line that back up, and then you're going to use the scallop portion of the other die and this is definitely where the washi tape comes in handy. So you want to line this up, just kind of make sure you have a nice even border, and it's made for you to actually line it up pretty easily. Alright, so once you have that, go ahead and run that through. And you can always save the negative pieces for another card. So once you do that, you'll get that perfect outline. So that's going to lay on top of the lighter green. But because I am doing a shaker, I'm going to cut one more piece using acetate. And acetate always gets lost because it's clear, but I did cut a piece. Let's see. I think I'm going to have to cut another piece because I cannot find it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a piece of acetate. And so you're going to do the same thing we did with the scallop portion. So all we need is that bottom half of the scallop to be that window for the shaker card. Let's go ahead and run that through. Good crunch lets you know it's working. I'll go ahead and run it back through the other way, just to make sure it goes through. Sometimes it's a little tricky, but that goes through perfectly. And then once again, we're just going to find those score lines. It's kind of hard to see, but when you do it, you could easily find those score lines and just cut right across. Okay, so that is all the cutting that we're doing for the shaker card. Now for the other card, we're gonna do a pink card. We're gonna have a white base. So go ahead and line up your base. And usually for shaker cards, I like to use a really heavy card base, just because it's going to be getting a lot of movement, I guess, when people shake their card. So run that through. And then, like I said, if you have the extended cutting plates, you can just run it through one time and it'll cut it all out together. But I definitely wanted to show you that you don't need the extended plates to do that, or to do this. So now we have our base for the second card. And then I want to do a darker pink top layer. So we're going to do the same thing, just go ahead and line it up, and we're only worried about the scalloped portion. So go ahead and tape that down. Run that through. And then we're going to line it up like we did the green card. This die is so much fun. If you haven't purchased it, I would recommend it. It's really fun too. I mean, I know people love getting cards anyways, but I feel like a shaped card just adds a little bit more fun. All right, so we cut that at the score line. Once again, we're gonna line it up. Okay, line that up. Run that through. Okay, one more piece of cardstock I'm going to cut out, and then we can start to assemble. And so like I said, make sure you save your negative pieces because you can use those for another card. Okay, so there's that for the pink card. And with the same die, because we are going to use the negative pieces for this next card stock, I'm going to use from a previous release. Everybody knows I love the burlesque stamp sets, and so we're going to use some, I think I'm going to do the heart paper from the burlesque paper pack. All right, and since the hearts are in the right orientation, make sure that whatever orientation you like, go ahead and line that up. And let's see, move it up just a little bit. So even though I'm only worried about the negative pieces, I went ahead and moved it up just because, like I said, I can use the outline for another card. So go ahead and run that through. Okay, I believe I am done with the die set or the die cut machine. Or actually, if I was gonna use that outline, then I would definitely have to run this through it just to get that outline. But we're not gonna worry about that right now. So I'm gonna put that to the side. Move this out of the way. All right, and now we're gonna go back to our shaker card. Alright, so for the shaker, we have our green base. So you want to go ahead and fold that at the score line. We have the front layer, and we have our acetate sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down the acetate. The first time I did this card, I forgot to glue down the acetate, and I started using the foam tape to pop it up, and then I realized, like, oh no, I forgot my acetate. So make sure when you're doing a shaker to put your acetate on first. Then everything else will come to play. All right. Make sure you glue it pretty good so it stays together for you. Okay. Let's go ahead and line that up. And I like using liquid glue just because it's forgiving and you have a little bit of wiggle room before you make sure it's all down. So I have some adhesive strips, some foam adhesive strips. So we're going to turn that over. And we're just going to go along the edges. For my card, I didn't worry about putting any shaker bits in the sleeve portion just because they're so small, but I still popped it up just so the card has the same dimension. I really love making shaker cards. I think they're so fun. Okay, let's see, those two look pretty small areas there. Move that up just a little bit. And a lot of this foam tape is pretty flexible. So instead of cutting a ton of different pieces to go around this neck area, you can just kind of press it down and then manipulate it to go in the shape you want. I don't usually have issues with that. Sometimes that backing wants to come off, so if it does, just let it come off, just be aware of it. And then we're gonna go around the side. So some of your tape may be a little bit wider. If it is, I recommend making sure that you can't see it on the inside. If you have to cut it off on the outside, that's fine. So like that piece right there, I can just cut that off. go around this other side. Let's see, I feel like for the sleeves, I just did little tiny squares just so it's still popped up, even though I'm not going to add anything back there, because I feel like it would be tough to get into all those little areas. If you have the patience and the time to do it, go for it. But I think, like, I don't know that you miss some on the sides. So just cut little squares just so it's able to pop up. Oh, that's probably good. Now this bottom portion is a little time consuming, but it's so worth it. Okay, a few more scallops. Like I said, sometimes that backing comes off a little bit when you curve it, but it's fine, just be aware of it. You want to make sure you don't have any gaps because you don't want any of your shaker pieces coming out. And then depending on the size shakers you use, you might not have to pay that much detail to it. Like if you're gonna use sequins, those are a pretty nice size, so you don't have to make sure it's seamless. Okay. And just have that little portion. There, and I think we are good. Okay, now I'm just gonna get a couple little sprinkles, a couple cherries. And then a little bit of diamonds. All right, now you want to make sure you take all the backing off. Try to leave a little space there just because this line, the waistline, I don't want any shakers there. So like I said, it does take a little bit of time, but the end result is good. And even if you just try it once, at least you did it once. Just going around getting some of that excess off. And then you want to, probably easier to line it up at the top. And then work your way down. And there's your shaker. I did do a ribbon, so you have that option. If you wanted to add a little bit of ribbon there, you can do that as well. So there's that one. Now let me grab our base for the other card. So you go ahead and fold that in half. This one we're not using any dimensionals, we're not popping it up, no foam tape. So we're gonna go ahead and just glue this directly to the front of the base. So this is my first time doing this version of it, but I feel like it's pretty user friendly, and I feel like when you get something new, just play around with it and see what different things you can come up with. Or if you need inspiration, of course, always look at the photos in the group. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and line this up at the top. Like I said, with the liquid glue, it's pretty forgiving, gives you a little bit of time to line it up before you commit 100%. Now, if you wanted a nice white dress with a pink trim, then you're already done. Add your sentiment and you're good to go. But we are going to add some hearts to the inside. Okay. So I'm just gonna glue the back of this piece, and we're just gonna play puzzles and just glue those right inside. I like to leave it out like this so you know where all those little pieces go. And everything lines up perfectly. So I hope you all make some fun dress cards. And I feel like you have so many different possibilities just using different color papers, different pattern papers. You could do different shaker cards if you want. I feel like you could almost turn it over, cut that part off, and use it as a fruit bowl. So just get creative and let your mind do its thing. See what you can come up with. So this one's coming along pretty quickly. And then also, if you wanted for this card, if you didn't want to have the white back there, you could add another color, maybe a different pink, just a strip of it, cut it out with the same die, and then just add maybe like 1/2 inch strip at the bottom to give that a different look as well. Few more pieces and we are good to go. So if you make these dresses, please post them in the group and also on Instagram. If you have it, you could hashtag Scrappy Boy Stamps. You can be featured on Fridays. Your card can be featured on Fridays. If you share that, use that hashtag. All right, there you go. We are all done with this card. I do want to show one last thing. So it does come with this die here. So let's say you used like a really dark color to make this dress. You can cut this piece out in white and then glue that inside so you have a space to write. And it also comes with this little flower, so you could add that to the card as well. But those are the two of the different ways that you can use the dress shaped card die to make different cards. And that was my original. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.